Next one is an amendment to the town charter treasurer. Shall the town of Londonderry approve a town charter amendment summarized below? There shall be a town treasurer hereafter, town treasurer called, who shall have all the powers and duties granted by the charter and state law. The treasurer shall be elected on an at-large basis by 3 years in the town election, appointed by the, and remove that to be appointed by the town council upon recommendation of the town manager for 1 year. Vacancies of the office of the treasurer will be fulfilled pursuant to state law. If the amendment is adopted, the town treasurer will be appointed by the town council instead of being elected. If the amendment is adopted, the elected town treasurer shall remain in office until 2025 annual town election. Also keep in mind, under the charter, that the town treasurer will also appoint a deputy town treasurer. That is the town treasurer's choice, once they're appointed. Questions from the council? Questions from the budget committee? Questions from the public?
Christine Perez, 5 Wesley Drive. This says that there's no property intact. Won't these people be paid? Aren't these paid positions?
It's already in the budget.
You put something in the budget that we
The town
haven't passed?
treasurer currently is in the budget.
Wait a minute, I gotta, right now, we do not pay for.
We do.
We do
It's-
pay for a town treasurer.
Okay, you
There's
pay
a
for-
stipend of $2,500.
So you're saying even the elected person will only be paid $2,000?
Regardless of who the town treasurer is, they'll be paid $2,500.
Okay, that's what I needed to understand.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public?
Kathy Wagner, 15 Parmenter, 12 McGregor Court, Unit 403, and 4 lots at Pillsbury Cemetery. I am the current town treasurer. This was brought up last year, and it was my fault. I didn't really think there was a need to come out and defend this because I personally thought it was a no-brainer once people got to read what it was. So that was my bad for not showing up and defending my position on this. The town treasurer position was invoked for absolutely all of the right reasons 100, 200 years ago. But as we could put a man on the moon today with a cell phone rather than a room this big full of computers that still didn't have the juice that our cell phone has today, it's become a law that is a little, and I don't say this to diminish what the position is, but it's a little antiquated and it's kind of needs revamping. And part of the reason I know I've been accused of not being able to articulate this because I'm just saying the election process. The election process is brutal. For a job that pays $2,500, just like the town council, but opens you up to every vile comment, attack, and anything. Now, same as the budget committee. And you guys don't even get $2,500. So, I'm doing a lot better than all of you.
Just for a point of clarification, counselor at large gets 2,000, not 2,500.
Oh, so I'm even making more money than you. Well, that's a big deal then. I guess my point is, and so Justin, now I'm going to turn it over to you. Please describe our department, the finance department. How many people, total cost, and what they do?
So there is 4 people, 5 including yourself as the elected treasurer. The total cost of that is, I have it right here, so I might as well give you the real one. For just salaries, no benefits, no retirement FICA, it's $445,834.
Okay, so almost $500,000.
Correct.
Okay, and how many people are in the department?
There's 4. Myself, controller, finance clerk, and the payroll finance coordinator.
And what is the town's operating budget in total?
It is about 48 million. However, we hold the funds for the school district, so we handle over 100 million a year.
I kind of think if I was in a huge corporation, I'd be kind of nervous of one elected person in control of $100 million. And and that's what I'm trying to bring the point is, it's not the wrong position to have, but the position has been outgrown because of the size of the budget. One individual could not keep track of the books on that kind of money, the amount of transactions, all of that. So that's why we, as a town, as a municipality, decided to bring in a finance department, because we knew it was getting so large. One individual elected could not run all of the processes of keeping the town functioning and paying its bills and doing the process of the accounting department. And many of you probably know in your business life there are accounting departments. And we are no longer a small town. We are a large town. There's a lot of money running through this town now. So I think that it is time, because the state gave us that ability, to remove this as an elected position. And it's not because I'm jumping for joy for it, but it's just time. Justin always makes the comment that an 18-year-old could win and, come in and shut down the finance department. That is a true statement, because technically the treasurer still does have very limited financial abilities, but all of the responsibility. And if you look at the RSA, that's the way it is. I'm the one that's going to get in trouble if they're not doing their job. So for someone to put themselves out on the line, first of all, in an election, and then put themselves out on a line becoming the treasurer is kind of a daunting task. And in today's world, when I looked at the Londonderry Lantern, and by the way, thank you for doing that. That's been such a nice addition to get all the information regarding the town. I really appreciate being able to go to the website and see up-to-date, current information about the town. The amount of positions that we're not getting anybody interested in is kind of frightening. It's actually really frightening. And I think you're going to see the same thing with the treasurer, because of just the nature of the election beast. When I ran, you have to pay money, you have to buy signs, you have to be held accountable, you got to get your budget up to the state. Oh, I'm done.
No, I'm not running a timer on the budget. That's Jim running a timer.
It's not fun getting up at 4:00 in the morning after a snowstorm comes through and put your signs back up, and it's not fun standing at the polls all day. Except for I have to disagree with that a little bit, because I like seeing everybody again, and it's a great opportunity to see a lot of people that you don't see. But I just think the state made the opportunity for us to appoint, and they did it for a reason. So we always say Londonderry leads the way. Well, we're not leading the way on this one. How many communities?
14, 15, 16, 17, 19 is what I have right now.
19 communities appoint. 19 communities. Comparable to our size?
Some are larger, some are our size, some are smaller, so it's all over the board.
Okay. Appointing, you guys have more ability. You can do a background check. Can't do a background check on me, and I can do any kind of crime I want and not have to resign, because we saw that. Because I'm elected, so I'm protected, even though I might not and should not be holding office. But I'm an elected official, so I can do a pretty heinous crime and keep my position. So I'm just thinking that maybe it's time that we re-evaluate this and go to an appointment for treasurer. I will disagree 100% with you, Justin, and I'm sorry.
Perfectly fair.
And you know how I feel. I do not believe a town member should be, an existing town employee should be appointed as the treasurer. I believe it should be a citizen. And on a final note, John, you were absolutely right in saying that I am the town treasurer and I can pick anybody I want as the assistant town treasurer without any input from anybody. So think about that. I mean, I could call Richard and say, Richard, you want the job? And then resign, and guess what? You got Richard. But that's my point, and that's why I'm saying it really is. It is a great position. It is got beautiful historic standards to it. It was warranted. I mean, it's hard for me, being such a history buff and such a lover of the town, to be up here asking, but it's time. It's time. And unfortunately, you know, I'm not trying to make waves. It's just, it just really is a good thing for us to consider.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Christine Perez, 5 Wesley Drive. Just for the record, for those watching or those that are new to this process, did we not vote on this last year as a town and vote not to do this? Correct? Correct? Correct.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
Do I have to give my name again?
You haven't come up yet.
Name and address.
I'll do just like her. Daniel Bouchard, 8 O'Connell Drive, 507 Mammoth Road, to King Edward, 45 Buckingham. How's that? Okay. So, I guess my question on this, I'll tell you, I voted against this last time. Okay. I understand Justin's concern. I don't know why anybody in their right mind would want to take on this responsibility for $2,500 a year. I have no idea. Okay? Have you thought of how you're going to select this person? What kind of, what are you looking for? I guess I'm looking for you to convince me that this is going to be a better process by saying, all right, we're going to appoint somebody. But when we appoint somebody, they're going to have A, B, C, D, you know, is what we're looking for.
Right.
All right?
Yeah, you have a criteria, right?
Criteria, wish list, it's your choice on words there.
Yeah.
Ideally, you look for somebody with an accounting background, finance background that has experience in governmental accounting. I'll be honest, the town of Londonderry is very lucky where we have a lot of residents that are governmental auditors or work in other municipalities as finance directors, town accountants, things of that nature. Ideally, I'd like one of them because they fully understand the books. There's a difference between a corporate finance and governmental finance. Assuming that we likely won't get those because if one of the auditors does come, their firm won't be able to do the audit for the town. So we rule them out. The individuals for other municipalities may not want to because they work in the same profession in the same area. We also have individuals that have retired from those auditing firms or have retired from municipalities that could do it. Those, again, would be the top tier. After that, it would go somebody with an accounting background, a finance background. CPA would be amazing. Around there, where we're able to go and verify that they understand how the financials actually work. And the 1 year aspect allows us where if they start deciding to walk me out, because as I've said, that's one of my concerns, is they can essentially say, the finance department has no ability to see any financial statements. We're taking you off as a signer. You're no longer allowed to look online at the statements. I would have no say. With that 1 year, it allows us to say, you can't do that. So those would be the ideal criteria.
Okay. I mean, you're also going to do, Michael, a background check, right, on these individuals?
That's the intention, that we've received legal advice that if the position involves the handling of money, that we can conduct the background check. And as I understand it, that is one of the primary reasons why we're pursuing this.
Okay. I don't know if there's a way to put that out there that this is what you want to do and this is the criteria you're looking for to try to convince people to vote
You know what,
for
Dan?
it.
Great idea.
Because for me,
Great idea. We'll put it on the website. We'll put a criteria up. It's
yeah,
a great
I mean,
idea.
for me, that, and listening to Justin and this is what he's looking for, you're going to change my vote. But,
It's a great idea. We'll
just
put
to
it out
say you're going to appoint somebody, that doesn't convince me. But if you're going to have a criteria out there and saying, we're going to look for this, and this, I think it's going to help you.
We'll have it put together and put on the website. Thank you for bringing it up.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Deb Paul, 118 Hardy Road. I am still against this. Mr. Bouchard brings out some good points. The one point I would like to say is if we are going to do this, it should be done in full transparency. So that person with the background check, I'm not sure how much that costs the town to do, but that should all be done in the public so that the people can see that and look at it. It shouldn't be handled the same way as a private employee is handled. My next question on this would be, is if we outsourced payroll, which would save some money, would it save some of the nervousness towards someone holding the town hostage? I don't know if that has actually been looked at thoroughly or just glazed at, but I do believe that outsourcing is a way to save money for the taxpayers, make your life a little easier. I do believe that it will also build a firewall and protect us if there's ever a mistake or, you get audited and, overtime wasn't calculated correctly. They're all responsible for it. And if they're not doing a good job, you can get rid of them. So I think that should be looked at. I said that a while back, but I know you said that there were 19 towns that are participating,
Those are just the ones
correct?
that I've reached out to.
I'm sorry?
Those are just the ones that have responded to my inquiries.
Okay. Well, I did a little research too. There's 221 towns in the state of New Hampshire. There is 237 municipalities, and I would say that over 50% of them are still elected. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I can answer one of those questions, which is, have we looked at outsourcing payroll? As a matter of fact, yes. When Ms. Paul was on the town council, at her request, we investigated that, determined that it would actually be more expensive to outsource payroll, and that was communicated to then Councilor Paul.
Thank you.
Okay, Richard Polinsky, Nain Hall Road. Couple things on this. I'm against it. I'll tell you that right out. The fact that you don't think you can get somebody that can handle this that isn't, a degree or something, I think is foolishness. When I was town treasurer, there was no purchasing policy. The first thing I did was put a purchasing policy in place. Look at when it was approved, and you'll see it's a year after I took over. We had no assistant treasurer in case something happened to them. I made sure that got taken care of because we hadn't had one for years. And the problem is, if something happens to the treasurer, accounts payable don't get paid, payroll doesn't get paid, and a year into my term, due to a congenital issue I had a heart attack and I was out. It wasn't out long, one round of accounts payable and one round of payroll, But because I took the steps to get a treasurer and put him in place, an assistant treasurer, excuse me, this didn't happen. A little correction to what Kathy said, she's about 99% right. She does have the right to, the person would have the right to pick who they want as the assistant treasurer, but they have to be affirmed by the council. They just don't happen. They come to you, you have to affirm them. Unless the law has changed, last time I looked it hadn't. And I can tell you, when I was the treasurer, I brought somebody forward and they fought me tooth and nails, they didn't want them. And they had emails sent to me from different people that were in their little group. You know, would you consider me? And if anybody thinks I'm lying, I still have the emails. And one from Troy Brown, who was, I believe, acting town manager at the time. So there can still be some influence. What happens if something happens to the treasurer and the assistant has to take over and they don't have their degree or whatever it is? An honest person is an honest person. If you're going to get somebody in there that's going to steal from the town, they're going to do it regardless of what their education is or anything else. Last year it was $9.99 to $800. That was the vote. Yeah, you have every right to bring it up this year. You can bring it up every year, unless you do a warrant article and it gets passed and it says, you know, do you agree not to revisit this for 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is. So there's pros and cons to doing it both ways. So keep that in mind.
Thank you.
Kathy Wagner again. I agree with Richard, 100%. I know everybody's gonna fall on the floor because we don't agree very often. I disagree with him on the treasurer part of keeping it. It is a true statement that in today's world, with fraud running rampant and everything in banking that's going on, the treasurer could squeeze out the finance department if they were so minded to do so. Like you said, everything's integrity. To Representative Christine Perez, I can bring this up as many times as I want on this ballot. You have no say to tell me as a U.S. citizen and a citizen of Londonderry, I can't. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything further on the town treasurer?
One quick question for you, Joe. Let's say that nobody ran for this position and it was vacant. What would happen?
Two things. One is there could have been a write-in campaign, and then someone could be, you know, elected through a write-in campaign, or it would have to come to the council for appointment.
So you would have to appoint somebody anyway at that point.
Just like if we had a vacant position for budget committee or anything else.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I do want to point out, just because someone is honest doesn't make them competent in a position. And I think that's important to remember.
Okay. I'll accept the motion to, anything else?
One comment on this. I understand that you don't need to agree to do this. It's taxpayers' money. I've never said otherwise. You asked me what my wish list would be, and I think it's a fair assessment to say that somebody in charge of $100 million should have an accounting degree. You don't necessarily need to, like I said, to do it, but if you're asking me what I believe the criteria should be to manage, you know, even just our budget of 46 million, I don't think it's a crazy thought to have that as part of the criteria. And I don't think many people would be comfortable with me as a finance director if I didn't have a degree in accounting or didn't have a degree in business in any way. I think there would be a lot of questions if that was the case with me in my position. And I oversee, I take care of, I manage, I do all that, but this individual, this position, has the actual authority over the funds. And that's where it comes from. Again, it doesn't necessarily need to be. I was asked what I believe the criteria should be, and I believe to manage this large sum of money, that should be part of the criteria.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, one procedural point on this. As you know, the Budget Committee votes on items that have an appropriation attached to them or other, in other words, monetary items. This, in the strictest sense, is not a monetary item. However, it is a charter amendment, and so my recommendation would be that the Budget Committee does give a recommendation on this article.
Thank you. All right, I'll accept a motion to move this to deliberative.
So moved.
Done.
Second.
Wait,
Go ahead.
I just, Deb Paul, 118 Hardy Road. Mike, I never got the documents of proving or showing me that it was, and if you still have that available, I would like to see it, because I did not see it. I was just told it wasn't. And I asked for those documents, and I never received them. I don't know who, I think it was Justin who actually told me that he got the documents. So if you do have the documents about outsourcing it, I'd like to see it, and maybe it should be put out publicly. Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
I'll accept a motion to, I won't redo the motion, accept a motion to move the charter amendment to the deliberative.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, I'm looking for a vote of recommendation of yes or no. Those council members voting yes,
Can I make a comment first, John?
of course.
Sure. So, Justin and Kathy, I respect both your opinions. I take it I take it dearly to my heart. I believe that whether this position is elected or appointed, that fraud can happen, either way. And I really believe in elections. So for me, I'm going to be voting no, because I'd like this position to remain elected. I firmly believe that whether it's elected or appointed, the same things can happen. So that's why I'd like to see it stay the same. So, but I do respect both your opinions, Kathy and Justin. So thank you.
Thank you.
So those voting yes,
Aye.
Aye.
4 yes, 1 no.